So when I was a little boy, believe it or not, I used to love watching scary movies. I know it's crazy, right? I used to love watching scary movies, but I'll tell you this: like the only movie or a set of movies that I wouldn't watch, like the only horror films that I wouldn't watch would be Night of the Living Dead, right? Like it was something about zombies or people that were once alive coming back and talking about like, yo, give me your brains, right? So that was one that I did not watch. But listen, this video, let me say this first. This is a disclaimer. Those of you that know me know that I'm very, very mindful of what I allow to come in my eye gate and my ear gates. And so this is a not a video that is giving you quote unquote permission to go and watch horror films. I'm gonna talk about that here in a little bit. Now you do what you want to do. I'm just telling you that this video is not clearance to go ahead and do that. But I do want to talk about something that hit me uh, several years ago. As a matter of fact, I wrote about it in my book, The Lion's Den. So you want to make sure you get a copy of that book if you haven't already. But I want to talk about something that I think we a lot of times minimize, and that is really understanding the grips of fear in your life. Understanding the grips of fear. And here's the thing, right? As a little boy, like I said, I used to watch scary movies all the time, but my favorite character of all time, I don't care what nobody say, my favorite character of all time was your boy Freddy Cougar. And one of the things that I really, really, I guess, was drawn to when it came to Freddy was one, Freddy was a comedian. He was a character, right? But there was something that Freddy would do that it really intrigued me. Again, way back when I didn't understand, the dynamics of how this stuff gets into your spirit, man. But Freddy's strategy was something that was a little different from everybody else. And if you recall, right, you think about this, he would take the strongest person in the group, no matter how strong they were. Freddie's strategy was this: if he can get into your mind, even in your dream, listen to this, even in your dream, if Freddie could get in your mind and convince you that what you were seeing in your mind was a reality, he became stronger and stronger to the point where it became so real in your mind that it literally became a reality in your life. And that's how when Freddie would catch somebody in their dreams, when they woke up, they would see cut marks, or they would see the reality of whatever they were seeing in his dreams. So they were given life to Freddie by basically becoming fearful of what they were imagining in their mind. So this is why, again, they kept telling people like, don't go to sleep. Like, stay awake. Why? Because Freddie would get in your mind. He would get in your head. And if you allowed him to, he will convince you that what you're seeing in your dreams was a reality. Now, here's the interesting thing about that, because there's truth in that, right? What you see in your mind is a reality, but that's not what this video is about. I want to share with you why I believe so many people right now are stuck in this place of stagnation, and why things are not happening. And I believe that you become easy prey for fear. You become easy prey for fear. Again, I want you to think about this: when Freddie would get into the mind of his host, as long as he can convince them that what they were dreaming about was really happening, he became stronger and stronger and stronger, to the point where they couldn't even shake it, right? They knew, and nobody, here's the thing, no one could convince them that Freddie was not real, because what they were seeing in their dreams, he convinced them so well that no one could convince them that Freddie was not real. But I want to dig a little deeper. I want to read an excerpt from my book, The Lion's Den. Again, if you have not gotten a copy of this book, make sure you get this book. make sure you get it. Okay. It is literally my life experiences, the Lion's Den, capitalizing on life experiences to building character. But I want to read something just so you can understand what's happening when you give attention, when you give life to the fear in your life and how you become easy prey. But look at this straight from the book. It says, now, this is me. All right. It says, after being exposed to the path of destruction led by fear, I've made the decision several years ago to watch what I allow in my eye and ear gates. That's why I said at the beginning a disclaimer. I'm not telling you to go watch all of the Nightmare on Elm Street flicks, right? I'm not telling you that because I understand what's happening when you put that stuff in your mind. But listen, it says, I no longer watch scary movies, not because I'm afraid of ghosts and goblins, but because I'm fully aware of the effects that the spirit of fear can have on my life. Listen to this. According to an article by Northwestern Medicine entitled Five Things You Never Knew About Fear, it was stated that fear is experienced in your mind. Watch, listen. Fear is experienced in your mind, but it triggers a strong physical reaction in your body. It further went on to say that as the amygdala in your brain alerts your nervous system, this sets your body's fear response into motion. Now, what does that mean? Here's the key. The article further goes on to say that as part of your brain is revving up, others are shutting down. Let me say that again. As a result of fear, your body will go into a fear response. And as your body is revving up in preparation for what you're anticipating that's been influenced by this fear, there's certain components of your brain that is shutting down. Listen, specifically, when the amygdala recognizes fear, the hippocampus, along with the cerebral cortex, which is responsible for reasoning and judgment, becomes impaired, ultimately making it difficult to think clearly. Now, why is this so important to understand? For two reasons. It's important to understand that this process, number one, the reason that it's important to understand this process is because one, it helps you to become more aware of the grips that fear has on your life and how it keeps you in bondage. And number two, it helps you to begin the path of what Jim Rohn says, correcting the errors of the past and picking up new disciplines for the future. Now, in my own life, like some of you, I have allowed fear to grip me in so many areas throughout my life. I believe that's why so many times in my life I became stagnant, right? In my office, I have behind me, right? I have several achievements behind me, right? I have my bachelor's, I have my doctorate degree, I have several other things on the wall here, my master's and so forth. What was really interesting about all those different benchmarks or those points in my life is that at every single level, fear tried to grip me and cause me not to move forward in those things, right? Fear tried to grip me. Fear, based on past experiences or maybe past associations, would cause me to entertain the thought that it was impossible. And just like Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street flicks, it would become so ingrained in my mind that whatever I was assuming or entertaining as a reason behind why I couldn't move forward in whatever it was that I was pursuing, it became so real to me that I would literally become frozen in the path of achieving those things. And so I want you to remember something, right? The word of God reminds us that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. I'll say it again. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. So you and I must then get to the point where number one, we're saying that on a daily basis. Whenever fear begins to try to camp in your mind, you have to remind yourself that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to dig deep within yourself and really question, why is this thing scaring me? Why is this thing creating fear on the inside of me? What's the root cause of the fear? Why why do you get to this certain point in your life and it seems like you get to this point and you just come to a standstill? What causes that? What causes that? Like, what experiences in your life have you avoided for so many years to the point that now you are coming face to face with a decision? You're either going to allow the fear to actually keep its grip on you and keep you living on what I call Elm Street, or you're going to face that thing head on and you're going to realize that God is not giving you a spirit of fear, but He's giving you a sound mind. He's giving you love and He's giving you power. Hopefully, this is making sense to you. So, whatever it is that you are having an opportunity to experience right now in your life, recognize the fear for what it is. Now, I don't want this conversation or this discussion to get in your head that all fear is a bad thing, right? All fear is a bad thing. I don't believe that all fear is a bad thing. I believe fear has its place, but all fear is not necessarily a bad thing, because some fear will propel you forward only after you have not given Freddy Krueger a place in your mind. Are you hearing me? When you have not given Freddy Cougar a place in your mind, then fear can go from keeping you stagnant and keeping you from not making moves to actually propelling you forward, because now you know that that thing that you're trying to get away from, this is why I call this video moving away or moving off of Elm Street, is because as long as you stay on the street of fear, long as you stay in an environment that feeds your fear, and as long as you entertain the fear, then you're going to remain stagnant. But it's when you realize that the fear can be used to catapult you forward, that's when things will begin to change for you. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. So I just had to jump on here really, really quick. I didn't want to jump, or I didn't want to be super long with this, but I want to read one more thing from the book. Again, get your hands on this book. Do it, okay? I wrote here, I said, loosening the grips of fear in your life is an ongoing assignment. Fear does not necessarily go away. On the contrary, it only lurks along within the tall grass until it finds a weak spot of its prey. Just like a lion, it will lurk around in the tall grass until it sees the weak spot, until it finds the weak point or the weak prey all together, and it will attack. It will ambush at the moment of your weakness until you develop such a grit, such a tenacity to move forward in the midst of fear, and you will have and seize whatever it is that you say you want. Don't allow Freddy Krueger to set camp in your mind. Pack your bags and get off of Elm Street. Listen, family, I just wanted to jump on here because there's such a pull from people that I talk to on a daily basis that they are afraid to move forward in what God has called them to do. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can overcome it. You, whatever it is that you're going through, you can overcome it, because again, the scripture says that you have not been given a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. So take these nuggets, take these principles, apply them to your life. And if you need help with this, reach out to me. I'm here for you. Put your comments or your questions, or even anything you want to add to this conversation in the comments below. And make sure you do a couple things. Number one, like this video. Number two, share this video. And if you haven't already, number three, subscribe to the channel. We are getting ready to get deep in the lion's den. I have a lot of things in store for you, and I don't want you to miss it. So, as with all conversations and with every single time I jump on here, I need you to remember with everything in you that when you are living in your purpose, there's no such thing as competition. Until next time, God bless.